Hey gamers, and welcome to day 7 of this campaign as Germany and Conflict of Nations. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday, but I had some plumbing problems in my house. In fact, they continue right now, expecting a plumber to show up within a couple of hours. Hopefully that'll happen. And right now my household is a little bit stinky and uncomfortable, but we are progressing with that, and we are progressing with our campaign in Conflict of Nations. So this is what our country looks like now. We have completely taken over Italy. We actually have one little bit of Austria left to conquer down here, and it turns out there's a little armored division. So we're going to take that out and conquer that. We have almost completely taken over France. They have, I think, 3 provinces left. And then today, so I started this campaign against France, I think 2 days ago. And today, when there's like 2 provinces left in France, I got a message from the player of the United States of America telling me, stop attacking France. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess I will pretty soon, because they're not going to have any provinces left. But guy was a little late to the party. Anyway, so this is what we have here. And then, as we were just finishing up France and Italy yesterday, Spain declared. Now, I'm not even sure Spain is an active player anymore. It's a brand new player, hasn't done anything in the last week, hasn't taken over Portugal, hasn't really done anything, declared war, and then just kind of sat there. So this may be now an NPC. It started out as a real player, but it may now be an NPC. And it doesn't really seem to be doing anything. All the little troops just kind of sit there. So pretty soon we're going to have Spain taken care of. We're building another little air base down here so that we can fly all over Spain. Because right now, we can't even fly all the way to Madrid. But we're building another little air base in one of these provinces down here, and we're going to be able to fly all over Spain. But we've already taken over a few cities. We have Barcelona. We have little troops sitting there. Zaragoza, and we are about to have Valencia, but I need to kill this little guy first. But anyway, the big lesson to learn here, talking about France and Italy, is France had definitely won the war. Italy had nothing. I was able to take over all of Italy, except I still have Palermo to finish up. Mainland Italy is done. Palermo and these 2 provinces I still need to finish up. But Italy had no troops left. Italy had nothing. It was completely gutted. France still had a few. I think it had like 5 units. There were some infantry and I think a couple of little pieces of armor. But it had like 5 units. Not much. This is a good example of why you don't want to get involved in hard wars. Now, I don't know which one of them declared. If it was Italy, that was a complete loss for them because they lost to France before they lost to me. And if it was France, well, France won. France won against Italy, but it was a hard war. And they were left greatly diminished, and when I came in, they had nothing left to fight with. So don't unnecessarily get involved in hard wars. If somebody big declares on you, obviously you have to defend yourself. But don't go around declaring on other countries if you're not sure you can win. It should really be easy. Taking over a country should take you a day or 2, unless you have a really good reason to have a longer war. Like if you're in close neck-and-neck competition with somebody to win or something like that. Otherwise, go easy until you're big enough to make what would have been a hard campaign easy. So that's a big piece of advice today. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit. Another YouTube user who has been commenting on my channel, thank you to him, 5,000 biker or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it right now. Made a comment on my last video about how to use Con News and the information in Con News, which tells you all about when a city is taken over, or when a military unit is completely obliterated. You will get news about this in Con News, and it'll tell you It'll tell you what was killed. So, like here, 1st Tank Division, Poland has occupied, however you say that, Lviv. And you can see Ukraine has lost 2,500. Poland has lost 483. So Poland is doing pretty well against Ukraine so far. You can see that Spain has lost 4,000. I've lost 150. And you can see what's been occupying and what's been being killed. And so in the last video, there's a comment by, I think it's 5,000, 50,000, something like that, biker, who gives a little bit of information about how you can tell what's being killed and what's killing it, and how you can use that for intelligence purposes, so that you know as you're going to fight a country, you kind of know what they have and whether their forces have been weakened or whatever. And I wanted to add, you can also use not only con news, but knowledge of what the other player sees as you're fighting for counterintelligence. So for example, this is something I did a couple of times early on when I was first starting the game. And I hadn't learned all the tricks I have now, but when I would be attacked by larger, more powerful players, and I would know that I could not take their army head on. I would also know, though, what they could see of what I was coming in with. So, for example, as I was taking one of their cities, they could see the force that was actually taking the city. But they could not necessarily see what was following it up, like one province behind. So you can see what's coming into a province. Like here, I can see, as I'm coming in, right here, they can see what I have. They can see that I have 1 infantry invading. I can see that there's an infantry force there. I can't see what that is. So that's good to keep in mind, because when I was fighting larger players, sometimes I would take out one of their cities. If possible, it would be their capital. I would always go for the capital first if I could get it, but just take out one of their homeland cities, and I would take it out with 1 or 2 infantry. But shortly behind the 1 or 2 infantry, I would have a much larger force. So I would know that the other player, they didn't see the larger force. They only saw the 1 or 2 infantry. So they would just sweep in thinking they were going to kill 1 or 2 guys and take over their own city again, and they would wind up wiping out lots of their own army because they didn't see what I had coming right behind it. So, like, if that were the case here, I might take over with just 1 in Zaragoza, and then 1 or 2 behind, I would have this larger force, and I would just park it there. All the enemy would know about is that 1 little troop that I had, and they would think they could take it back easily, and they would lose a bunch of troops fighting it. Now, I don't typically do that anymore, because I tend to be the largest player. So, like right now, I have 33 cities to the next in line, Poland, which has 17, and I would like to keep it that way. I want to keep growing and put everybody else in the dust. And that way I don't have to worry about fighting with much larger players. And the more cities you have, the more provinces you have, the more power you have, because you wind up having more resources. More resources come in. You're able to build more stuff. I love having all my cities. Right now, let's see. Let's see what I'm going to make down here. I'm right now lacking in population a little bit, but I can make one of these. So I'm going to make some artillery down here. I like to have all my cities, ideally, running at full tilt. There should always be something going in all my cities. And I can only do that if I have lots of resources coming in, and I can only have lots of resources coming in if I have lots of territory. So it all goes together, and be the biggest, scariest guy on the block, and then you don't have to worry about what to do when a larger player invades you. But, if you're starting out, you're just learning, and you're being invaded by larger players, well, there's a good trick to use. Not only can you pay attention to what an enemy has based on what they've been using against other players, but you can also keep in mind what they're able to see of what you're using. So sometimes you can play a little trickaroo and wipe out some army. So thank you again for stopping by. I will definitely keep doing these updates, and it'll be a little bit easier when the water is draining correctly in my house. So thanks for coming. Please come back. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time, which will probably be tomorrow.